Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mina's Beyond the Stamp podcast. I'm Debbie Lowry. Up in the corner is Leslie Hacker, the co-founder of the Michigan Notary Association. To my other side, there is Heather McGrain, who is going to be presenting today um, on how to set up your Google My Business profile page. Or I think I'm dating myself because I don't think it's called Google My Business, but Heather
Google
will clarify.
Business. The
Google
My is
Business.
gone.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So, just before we start, just so everyone is clear, the Michigan Notary Association is not we're not a law firm. We don't dispense legal advice. None of us are lawyers. So, the information that we pass along is best practices, and that is the manner in which it should be interpreted. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Heather. Take it away, Heather. And I'm going to make sure everybody is on mute. And are you going to have time, or do you want us to ask questions or put it in the chat or wait till the end?
You know what? You can pause me and ask questions. I
Okay.
I do have slides, but that is because I am not as experienced as Leslie and Debbie at presenting, and so um, they're as much for my own notes as anybody else's.
Gotcha. All right. I'm going to make sure that everybody's on mute. And then if you have a question, you can unmute yourself or pop it in the chat and we'll just ask the questions.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about setting yourself up as a mobile notary business on Google Business Page. Um, I know that people have been having problems getting verified, and I have had to go through the verification process 3 times now. Um, just I don't know whether it was something that I put on my profile that flagged or what. But then when I did a huge profile update, and then when I moved, I had to re-verify again. So I have a little bit of experience with this. So I am the owner of On My Way Michigan, and which is my mobile notary business primarily. I also have I'm a wedding officiant. I have digital downloads for business to business support, and I contract for document translations, and I do apostilles now. Thank you, Leslie. I am also the human marketing liaison at the Tooth Fairy Agency, um, which is a fully online business, and so I couldn't even get a Google business profile for that. I was commissioned as a notary in 2023. I joined the MENA board this year, just a couple of months ago. My family life is inherent chaos. I apologize if my children run careening through the room and interrupt us. I have a background in desktop publishing and nonprofit community development and a degree in business. My chef degree is not quite as relevant to my business as you would think, but surprisingly, my experience as a chef has been very valuable. So as far as building your profile goes, you're going to search Google Business Profile. I finally found that you can go straight to business.google.com to get started. You're going to sign into your Google account, and when you get to that uh, Google Business page, you're going to select Start Now. Um, Follow the prompts. It is going to seem fairly simple for a little while until you go to get verified. Your business type is notary public. You're going to get verified. There are a few ways to do that. We're going to go into that. And you're probably going to get suspended. If you don't have a physical location to send clients to, your account's probably going to get suspended right off the bat, and they're going to make you do a larger verification process. And that's what we're going to go through today. So to get started, you're going to pick your name. To make examples, I was going to start a business page for my remote online notary side of the business, which I call Sign Online. Um, And as you'll see a little bit later in the process, apparently you're not allowed to have a business page if you are completely online, because it's set up in their maps system. So unless they have a location to tag you in, you don't get a business profile. They do have this business category here is actually a drop-down menu, and as soon as you type in notary, Notary Public pops up as one of the options. For our purposes today, I selected no, I do not have a location. Leslie is going to have a location for her business, so hopefully things will be a little bit easier for you. But if you don't have a location, if you're just mobile, then you don't have that to add to the map. You are going to have an opportunity to show kind of where you're located. So I had put for on my way, I had put Ypsilanti since that's where I'm based. I think one of the times I was able to put in Washtenaw County, and that I don't think that that got accepted. They wanted specifics. They wanted even more specific than Ypsilanti, because once I put in my zip code, that zip code is in 2 townships. And so they wanted to know which township I was in. So we are in the United States. You're going to pick that region. And you are going to enter your mailing address. A lot of people are missing this flag here that says the address you provide here will be hidden from the public. That is true. It is hidden from the public. I have not seen my address on Google anywhere for this. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Of course, you're going to add your contact details. Make sure you get your website in there. And this is where we start the verification process. So you're gonna be offered a chance to get a verification code sent to your phone. If you select this change option button, it comes up with phone, email, or business video. You can just skip straight to the business video. You're gonna have to do it anyway. But if you want to keep filling out your business profile before you get to that point, so that they have something to verify against, I strongly recommend doing that, because they were confirming everything that I had already put in my profile once I got to the video and the video call option. So I had selected this phone code, and I verified that. And then I got this page saying, you're being verified by Google. It can take up to 5 days. It took 3 minutes for them to suspend my account. I wasn't even done setting up yet. So I went ahead and I added business hours. It actually like comes up as the next page that they want you to keep adding information. So I did add some business hours. I added just the logo of my business. My hypothesis was that if you start with only one picture for your business, one photo, that it would select that photo more often to show people. I'm not sure that that's true, but at the very least, start with your logo so it's the oldest one that you've got. And then of course they're going to try to upsell you. I did not care about that, so I just skipped skip. I just selected skip there. And then, as so many of us have been experiencing, I got my business profile suspended. It says your business is not visible to customers. And then there are 2 options here. You've got the learn more. I went ahead and edited the info so that, again, you've got more information on your business for them to verify, to see that you are a real person. To be honest, the scammers that they're trying to prevent, they're coming in from all over the world. And as we've seen this morning, and this is Google's way of trying to verify that you are a real person, a real business. You're not some shell company of a shell company. And the people who are trying to commit fraud with these businesses are not putting in any amount of effort. Yes, Leslie. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Your description isn't words. Or is it just like, did you blank that out?
No, I didn't. I genuinely don't know what's going on with that. I was wondering the same thing. I was wondering if because that's where the business name is that like Google, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Um so oh, so yeah, so I filled out as much of this profile as I could. Um because they want to verify the information that's in it. They want to verify you're real. And these people who are trying to create fake profiles, they're not filling them in. So the more information you can give, the better. It helps show that you are a real person, you are trying to build a real business, and you're not just a scammer. So we've got more. I wonder if that's a watermark? Huh. So as you go through the prompts, I just fill them out, you know. There's this whole box here of more and more and more information. Keep scrolling down, keep filling it out until you run out, and then and it's going to show you again your business is not visible to customers. When you click this learn more button, I'd never actually seen this page before, but apparently that's the easy way to get to all the places where you need to be. You have the option here to submit an appeal. You also get that in your email when they notify you you've been suspended. So that's where I've always gotten the link from. And then they're going to make you take a video. This is where everybody keeps getting hung up. On the last time that I verified, I didn't get offered the option to just do a video. I had to do a video chat with a human being. I'm assuming is a human being, because he never actually got on the video with me, but the video chat was 15 minutes, so we got to know each other. But on this appeals page, you have the option to attach evidence that you're a real business, and all of this is the stuff that they had me do during my video chat with an actual Google employee. And they had me show the front of my house. They wanted me to show the street sign. Um, they had me show my invoices and my website and click through places on my website. They had me create a because I had the option to book online, they had me book myself a calendar event and then show what calendar system am I using? How do I get notified? Like, you know, show that it's all really set up and that it goes somewhere. Um, so the more information you give them in that video, the better. When I did it, I was narrating my way through it, and it felt really silly because it felt like I was talking to no one, you know, but um it was very helpful.
That is crazy, but also good. I, that's a lot.
Yes. I will tell you, the first time when I did the video, I was just like, is this just going to be, you know, evaluated by AI? Are they basically just saying, oh, you did the video, so you must be real? I got verified the first time about 2 minutes after I sent the video. So I was like, oh, there's no way that they even watched it. But they did, because the email that I got actually like made a joke about something that I had said in the video, and you know, and then wished me well in a way that was like too personal, too personable, like too real. So they really do have people looking at these videos and verifying that you're real. So
That's
this
good
year,
to know. I'm glad you said that because there are so many people who think that it's just an automated system and they're just doing it to make people angry. But really, seriously, it is all about fraud.
it is.
And there was that BOI thing that we were all supposed to do for this year that then was deemed like, for some reason, was deemed whatever it was, and we didn't have to do it. But that was also to help prevent fraud.
Yep,
Like if we, and our job is to prevent fraud. That's why we are notaries and we are preventing fraud. And so anybody who gets angry because they're checking to make sure you're real does not understand why we're doing what we're doing.
exactly. Um, so do this video when you're not on the live call. On the live call, they just gave me prompts. They asked me questions, and I just answered them. That was so much easier. Yes, Leslie.
How long did it take from the time you requested the live call until you got to do the live call?
Oh, it was when they gave me an option, it was click this button when you're ready kind of a thing.
So it was immediate.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is really good to know. I know how frustrating it is to try to get through something to get to the next things, each of these steps. And
Mhm.
so to have to keep putting things on hold is really frustrating. So I'm glad it's immediate. Thank you for that.
Yes, I was very relieved that it was immediate because by the time I got around to doing something about it, my profile had actually been suspended for over a week. And that was all on me. That was just because it was like Christmas time and I'm dealing with stuff and I hadn't even noticed the original email come in, and it was because I had done a whole overhaul on my profile and added a ton of information, and I guess something either added too much or something that I wrote must have flagged, but so I was suspended for a week. And don't get me wrong, I appreciated the vacation, but it affected my bookings for a little while. So when I did my video the first time, I started standing inside my front door and I walked outside to show the address on my house, and I showed, hey, my street curves for a while, like there's no street signs here, but I promise it is the street, Um, and I was narrating the whole time. It was, here's my front door, here are my keys, here's my address, there's no street sign, it felt really silly, but that's what they want to know. Um, it did give me a list of points to hit, and so that's why it was, here's my address, here's my street sign. One of the things that they really want from a mobile notary business is they are asking you to show the car that you use to go visit people. So I was very glad to have my business name on my car because that was very helpful. Um, so I said, this is my house. I do not see clients here. This is the car where I go see clients. Things like that. Oh, that's what it was in the very first video. I had said, this is my house. I don't see clients here. I understand that, you said you're not going to share my address, but I'm really hoping my address isn't going to be made public. And then in the response email telling me that I had been approved, there was a little note of, and I heard on the video that you're worried, and don't worry, we do not share that address with the public. It's literally just to verify that you're real.
I love that. I
I
love
love
that.
that.
Thank you.
So I said, this is my car where I go see clients. They want to see you lock and unlock your car. So if you have a key fob that you can make it beep, make the lights flash, go ahead and do that. If you do not have a key fob that does that, walk up to your car and turn the key. Show that you're locking it, show that you're unlocking it, all of that. They want to see your mobile office. So have your notary bag accessible. Um, I put my notary bag in the car to go through that while it was in the car that they wanted to see that I had. Um, I went through, this is my business card, this is my notary stamp, this is my sales flyers, this is my website, this is my social media. I think on the original video, it was just like, my business card and my magnet on my car, that I had for marketing materials. By the third time I've done this, when I did the video call, they wanted everything. They wanted to see my invoices. They wanted to see multiple social media profiles, all of these things. So
How much time did you have for this video?
for the first video, it says it should be about 1 to 2 minutes. For the live video call, it was 15-20 minutes.
Oh, that's so much better. I like that because there's so many people who have a long driveway
Mhm.
or a bigger house or whatever.
I thankfully they let you like take the video and then upload the video. So I had a few takes to be able to go, oh, this is taking too long, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. And so it was very helpful to be prepared before I took the video and had it uploaded. So that was good. Um, they asked me to like see inside my notary bag. They wanted to see my stamp. They wanted, yes, Annetta.
So, question, I'm still pretty new, so a lot of these things I don't have. I'm
Mhm.
working on my logo, I'm working on my business cards. I don't have any marketing materials. Do you believe that since I don't have a lot of these things that it would be difficult for me to be verified?
I don't think so. The first time I did the video when I was first setting up, I am not the person who has all of my ducks in a row before I jump in 2 feet first. That's just who I am as a person, and I've accepted that about myself. But it meant that I didn't have a lot to go on that original video, and I was still verified. I
Okay,
was able to show that I had a car, that and I had my business cards, and I didn't even have a website with my own domain name. I just
right,
have one of the
right.
free Wix sites. Um, and that's all they asked for at first. It was once I was in business for a year and a half and they were having me re-verify on a live video call, that's when they really wanted to go into all of these things. But I saw on that appeal page that it's asking for evidence. It's asking for show us your marketing materials, show us some of your back end business stuff. So anything that you can add is only going to help.
Okay, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I'm happy to. Thank you for asking. They had me show my LLC. Actually, they had me show my DBA the first time because I did go and register my DBA when I got my notary commission. And so they had me show my business license and they wanted to see all of it. Once you have a verified profile, this is kind of what it looks like. You're going to see this dashboard up on the left, and then you're going to see that box with your profile on the right. I have no idea why my business profile shows the Safe Space Alliance picture. Um, I've taken that picture off twice just and it will remove it when I actually remove that photo from my photo pool. But as soon as I add it back, even with a bunch of other pictures, even with an updated logo after it, it always wants to show this Safe Space Alliance. And the only thing I can think is that Safe Space Alliance is a big enough legitimized entity on the internet that they want to show that as like they view it as a legitimate picture, or that it's showing your legitimacy. I don't know, but I mean I would rather that they were showing my logo, but I'll take it.
So what they do is that as you add pictures, they're just putting it up there. When I pulled up your site, it's a picture, that picture is still there, but it's also all Pride, No Prejudice. Um, it's the way you're adding the photos to it.
It must be.
You can go into your profile and put your profile picture there. And then as you add photos, that's what's going to be showing there. So it's just showing, it's just showing the most recent or one of the most recent. The thing is, the thing about your Google business page, if you want to stay up in the rankings, you have to constantly tend it. It's not a crock pot. Your Google business listing, it needs to be, it wants attention. It's kind of like a 4-year-old. And so you have to add photos and add things like every week. Put a reminder in your phone to add a picture or add an article or something in it, because when you don't, you get lower in the rankings. So you got to pay attention to it so that you're up top. Debbie's got a question.
I do, but the build off of what Leslie said. So every month I have a reminder at the first of the month, change the furnace filter. So maybe like set a reminder like that, like, okay, it's the first of the month, I have to do this. The second thing is, thank you, Heather, for pointing out the Safe Space Alliance thing, because I never really thought about making a connection. Like if the men are in a fraternity or a sorority, like the women in a sorority, that too could be a draw when people are doing a search. So it's important. It's very important that you said that. So thank you.
Thank you for drawing attention to that. And I agree. And Leslie, you said that right when I joined Mina. That was one of the things that really stuck with me was it's not a crock pot. Keep tending to it. And I actually have been pretty good about making regular updates. And now I've got my Google business profile is one of the profiles that I can automatically post to in my social media strategy planner. And so I will tell you that it gets tended regularly, but I also noticed that I can't just add photos that go into that spot. So once or twice a month I go in and I add a different photo. I've removed all of my photos and just had my logo there for a little bit and then added, more photos one at a time. And no matter what I do, every single time the Safe Space Alliance picture gets loaded, that is what it decides is my logo, and no matter what I upload after that, that's my logo. So
I get it.
at least my logo has rainbows in it and circles, so like it's close enough.
Kind of the same. But here's the thing, also for everybody listening, Google wants to see 25 photos or more for your business in order to rank you. So when I say tend to it, like keep it active.
And that actually gets us to exactly what I was going to talk about, which is your right column box here. From that dashboard, you're going to see this right column box. That's your business profile, but it's still your own view. You've got your photos, you've got your reviews. You're going to want to edit this section somewhat regularly to make sure that your business hours are always up to date. And these Q&As, there's something to kind of fill in later. I'm going to come back to that. This is your dashboard. And right now we're going to go through your dashboard piece by piece, and I'm going to tell you what to do with it because I have played around with this so much. So right now when you are setting up, you're going to want to edit your services and you're going to want to add some of these Q&As. These are important for Google ranking and people seeing you as legitimate. So adding these services, Leslie's going to tell you all the time not to pigeonhole yourself by listing the kinds of things that get notarized. And I do not disagree with you, Leslie. And also, the internet is broken. And so this is all about SEO. This is not telling people this is all I do. So you're going to want to make sure as you're adding these descriptions that you're saying and more and these things. These are some examples. Make sure that people are seeing those words repeatedly, that this is not all you do. You're trying to show you're trying to show up when somebody searches for notary affidavit, because the general public doesn't know what we do. They don't know if we have specialties, like lawyers have specialties. They don't know if there are like maybe different things, like you have to be certified for different things as a notary. And so they're searching the name of their document and the word notary. So these services, it's less about a menu of options for our clients to choose from and more about the search engine optimization.
Can I just clarify when I
Please
said
do.
don't pigeonhole you? If all you do is say, I notarize estate plans, I do loan signing, I will do your powers of attorney, no one will call you based on, I need an agreement between tenants. Because it looks like that's all you do. So your business card should not have that on it. You are a notary. There is a misnomer amongst many. I did a speaking engagement just last week and let 23 people know that I was listening ahead of time, and they're like, yeah, there's people don't realize there's different kinds of notaries. No, there's not. And that's what they don't understand. But literally, it did not absorb because I got a call after people went to those people. Anyway, I don't want, when I say that, I mean, your only advertising should not be what you know to be notarized. Okay. Because when you're out there in the wild and you start notarizing, we have to realize we notarize signatures. So if you want to pigeonhole yourself, put that you notarize signatures, because that's what you do. Okay. If you're signing it, we can notarize it as long as it's not a medallion signature guarantee. But yes, SEO does want to know what you do. Don't blast it as the headline, but bury it in your website, because when it's buried in the website, it's not the headline. It's not what's going to get people not to turn to you. So
Exactly.
just to clarify,
Don't make it your motto.
don't make it your lifestyle.
Right. So yes, this edit services button, this is your SEO goldmine. You're adding prices. If you go to my website or to my Google business profile and you look at these services, you're going to see they're all listed as $10 except for Apostille. And I made sure to include and more, and while I was making my slides, I was thinking of you, Leslie, and I was like, I should have in there more often, we notarize signatures on any document. So that's my next website and social media update, is to make sure that I get that phrased more clearly in more of my marketing. This is what it looks like. Nice of myself to add a little screen cap for you. That it's anything that it would let me add, because it comes up with a menu of options. And so I just clicked all of them, and then I ended up adding a bunch more. That it's just things that people have searched for the word notary. And so I added them all, and I added a little blurb. The very first time I did it, I think all of my blurbs were exactly the same, which was something like, we notarize signatures, it doesn't matter. That may be what got me flagged for needing re-verification the second time. So every one of these is a different little like 3-sentence blurb that says something about the title, and then one of my services, broadening it, like, we offer mobile and online notarization for this or whatever.
I think that's great. Can you go back to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a default when you're putting your Google business page together now. Only in the last like maybe 3 months, they added this category thing. And I am grateful for this right here, because I went and removed those categories. And I was like, why do you have that in there? We notarize signatures, not documents. But you know what? People don't realize that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back and fix mine to what you did, because that actually makes sense, that it is from $10. You can only do from $10. You can't do like $10 each or anything.
No,
Okay, I mean, whatever it needs to be, we're good.
right.
I
Exactly.
love that. This, to me, this was worth the whole hour. Thank you.
You're welcome. I copied, I think I added all of the things that it would let me add into the list, and I copied the list over into ChatGPT and said I need like, and it tells you what the character limit is. And so I told it I need a Google business profile description for each of these things, and half of them were useful. Half of them were useful. It was great.
Yes. Well, listen, chat,
Great way to
if you
cut
got
down the
half from
tedium.
chat, we're good.
Right? Yeah, it was a great way to cut down the tedium, and because I end up with blank page syndrome a lot, where I'm just looking at it like I don't even know what to say here. And so that has been ChatGPT has been very helpful for that. This question and answer section is a lot. This is absolutely what got me flagged the last time I had to review, because I added a bunch of questions and answers. And I think that I did it at the same time as I added all of those service descriptions. I did like a big profile overhaul, and they didn't like that. So the questions and answers, you're going to want to have a wide variety of things. So you have frequently asked questions about your business, clarify any special services, whether you have an office. If you don't have an office, that's something that might be helpful in your questions and answers, because people are going to find you and then they're going to go, why can I not find the address for this? Yes, Leslie.
Okay, if I have FAQs on my website, do I need to put FAQs on my Google business page too?
Absolutely, because people
Okay.
are clicking around your Google business profile before they decide if you're legitimate enough to go visit your webpage. So you definitely want to fill this out as much as possible. And one of the things that they're going to be looking for is, why can't I find your address? So answer that question.
That's gold right there. That's gold. But also I do want to, just because we're talking about the two together, I want you to know that a lot of times people choose me over the other people who come up in that Google business search because I have a website.
Yes.
And they have said, I chose you because you have a website that tells me you are a legitimate business. So just for everybody out there who thinks it's not worth the $150 to buy a domain and get a website going, it absolutely is. It will pay for itself.
It is absolutely, hands down. I spent the first year of my business with a free Wix website instead of a domain, because it meant that I could cut down on my startup costs. And I'm not saying I regret it, but I think that it was not worth the extra effort of doing it that way. I think I would have been much better off getting a domain to begin with.
I agree. And Michigan Notary Association does have website hosting at sapphirepup.com, sapphirepup.com. And that is, it does help our little nonprofit keep going. So if you can, it's the same thing. And they have great customer service. I had to call them the other day because I just got a new website. Annetta, just go to sapphirepup.com and all the prices are there for you. I didn't know how to connect my email. And my new business is the Notary Stop, and it wouldn't connect my email. And I called them and they said, oh, that's because someone else used to have that email. Hold on. They put me on hold for like 30 seconds. They came back and said, try it now. And so we did. And I got it and we're good. They were so kind, so helpful, and it was so fast.
That's awesome. I do go into a little bit more about why you want to make sure that you have a good website in the Run Basics class that I'm doing tomorrow. So show up. Maybe it'll be fun. Um, Aside from frequently asked questions about your business, you're gonna want to add this is an opportunity for education. This is an opportunity to say this is why we verify signatures, not documents. This is why we can notarize anything. Um, Teach notary facts that people benefit from knowing, like the state regulates this $10 price, things like that. Make sure you come across as a trained professional. You're going to want to speak from the perspective of someone that they can trust to be ethical and accurate, because that's the information that you're trying to convey more than anything. And this is also a great opportunity to be constantly updating your profile. Anytime there's movement on your profile, you add a little bit to your legitimacy. You get bumped up in the ratings a little bit. And so if you're adding a photo this week and next week you're doing one of the Q&A sections, and then on another one you're adding one of your services, things like that, it shows that you are putting the effort into your business and Google rewards you for that. So this is what the Q&As look like. You'll see that you are shown as the person who is asking the question, and that's fine. You're going to have clients that ask questions here too at some point once they see that they can ask questions. And if it is a frequently asked question, if it's something that people want to know, Google will post it and you'll have the opportunity to answer, which is nice. Yes, Leslie.
I want to point out something. So Michigan Notary Association has a web guy. His name is Bill, and I network with Bill. Bill told us a couple weeks ago that one of the things that gets your business noticed is frequently asked questions being on your webpage. So make sure you're doing that, if nothing. It's been on my list for about a month now. That's how long ago he told me, and I haven't done it. But yes, it will get you higher ranking because you have FAQs and you answer them.
FAQs are also a really good thing to put in blog posts. And when you are regularly putting blog posts on your website, then those count as updates. And then also you have the ability to link back to them throughout your website so that every time you need to tell people, bring your photo ID, you link back to what kind of photo ID can I use? That's really helpful.
That's amazing. Thank you.
One of these days I should do a podcast on building your own website.
Do it, girl.
I was just writing that down as a note. So good.
Speaking of maintaining your profile, we're talking about these regular updates. Anytime you get a new product, anytime you get a new social media profile, if you have a new booking software, and so people can book with you without having to call you, that has upsides and downsides. Don't take that statement as a definitely do this. But anytime you have an update about your business, especially if you're updating your website with anything, you want to make sure that it also gets over to your Google business profile. Add those photos, add those posts. Once a month, I have a reminder in my task list to go check my holiday hours. And one moment, please. What? So I'm once a month, I am checking my holiday hours and making sure that they reflect what I'm actually doing this year. One year I was available for Labor Day. This year I wasn't. So I make sure that that gets updated, because they will kind of assume that if you were open for Labor Day last year, that you're open for Labor Day this year, unless you change it. These questions and answers are a great way to do these little maintenance things to keep your profile regularly updated and going up in the rankings. Make sure that you're requesting reviews. This is where I fall flat. I'm terrible about following up with people. This is one of the things that I am working on in October, is getting comfortable asking people for reviews and telling them, where to go to put them in so that I have more than 4 reviews on Google. So back to this dashboard, you're going to be editing your profile to make these updates. You're going to be editing these services. This edit products button, Mobile Notary's probably not going to use this very often. On My Way Michigan does have digital downloads. So I do have products in this category, but until I had those digital downloads, I didn't have anything. I mean, it's basically a little mini storefront. So you don't need to be worrying about adding services and adding products. Just add the services. Other updates, you're going to be adding photos from this button here. You're going to be adding posts. If you're using a social media post scheduler, all of those are going to end up in your posts. They're not going to end up in your photos. You have to do this one manually. This is where you update your holiday hours in that edit profile button. And then the question and answer button is right down here in your dashboard. You don't have to go looking for it in other places. It is in a couple of other places, but I try to make sure that that's something that I'm doing intentionally and not just while I'm doing other things. And then ask for reviews. It's right there in your dashboard. You get a little link. I took that link and I made it a QR code and I put it on some of my marketing materials for leave a review. I actually ended up making a landing page at my QR code builder website that instead of just saying leave a Google review, I've got Google, I've got Yelp, I've got a couple of other places where people can leave reviews. And so wherever it is that they want to leave it, they can. But either way, you click this ask for reviews button and it's going to give you a link, and that's super helpful. Debbie.
So do you have a different Google My Business profile, Google business profile for each aspect of your business? Do you have one for your wedding officiation business, or is it like all together in one profile?
It is one profile because they're doing it by business name. And so because I'm running all of these products, all of these income streams,
Services. Yeah,
yep,
services.
through one business name. It's all under one Google business profile. But for example, I have the Tooth Fairy agency that is technically a DBA of my LLC, but it's effectively a different business. So if we did anything in person that we could get a Google business profile, that would be a different business. If you're doing something like Mobile Notary of Macomb, but also doing wedding officiant, and then you've got a different, even if it's just a DBA, if you've got a different business name for that, you might be able to have a different Google business profile.
I
But
just
all
ask because there are notaries that do like process serving, field inspection, lots of other tax prep, there's a lot of things that they cram into what they do. And is it a smarter thing to have a different profile for each one? But I guess it's based on how you structure your business
very much so.
versus
How you
the
structure
okay.
your business and how you're advertising your business. Because if
Mhm.
it's all under one business name, then it's going to be under one business profile.
Okay.
I do want to caution, and Heather, I just sent you a text about this. Everything that we're talking about here does not apply to taxes. If you have an LLC, your LLC is rated. Your EIN number is rated according to what you are doing with that business. So if you have a business doing something that has nothing to do with notarial services, it's not going to fall under the same category. So you need a different LLC for that. For instance, I have a business consulting business. I've had it for 10 years. It is a separate LLC from my notary business. My accountant made me get a separate one because it's different EIN numbers, it's different Sam's Dunn's numbers. Like if it's a separate type of business, it needs its own separate LLC in order to be legally categorized. You can do what you want with your business pages, with your
Yeah.
websites and all that, but I just don't want the advice that we're giving here to spill over into taxes because it's not the same thing.
Thank you for clarifying, because you're right. The internet is real life, but how the internet makes you market things and structure that is not necessarily reflective of the legalities involved.
Exactly.
All right,
I'm
that's
sorry,
all I
may I
had.
ask the
Any
question?
questions? Yes, please.
So if we add process server or what else? Something field inspections or some of those other ones, can that stay under or do you know if that can stay under the LLC or you have to do something else
I
for taxes?
pull up the IRS. Do you remember what it's called? Did you just say Dunning something?
Dunn's number, DUNS.
Yeah. Pull up that IRS number categorization
yeah.
system. I know, I think it's linked on the EIN page when you're applying for an employee identification number.
Mhm.
So
And
let me just interject here and just say, we can only dispense best practice information. I would
Right.
highly suggest that you consult your own tax preparation person to answer that question, because we can't tell you how to structure your business and what the right thing for you is, because what might be right for you might not be right for someone else. And this video is being recorded, so we don't want to
Right. Okay.
specifically answer your
yes,
question.
Got it.
and actually that was exactly where I was going with that, was
Okay.
look up those categories and you're gonna see how huge of a variety there is.
Okay.
And then if what you're doing is questionably or obviously in different categories, you definitely want to ask an
Okay. Now, the
Um,
other question earlier, I have another question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned something about your business license. Now, I'm kind of confused about that. What is a business license? If I have an LLC, is that a business license or that's
Yeah,
something else?
I was using the term business license in sort of a general, they ask about your business license and any kind of licensing paperwork that you have to show that you are a legitimate business.
Okay.
So in my case, at the time that I was doing the original video, all I had was a DBA for my own personal name. I hadn't incorporated as an LLC.
Would you have
And
shown your notary certificate from the state, like showing that you are commissioned by the state?
yeah, I think so. I didn't, but I think that that's definitely something that probably would have been helpful. But I know when I did the live video call, they wanted to see that. They had me pull up my listing on the state of Michigan website to show that I'm a real notary, and they had me pull up my LLC filing. They didn't want just my record of it. They had me pull it up on Laura to show that it really was filed and not just something that I filled out to pretend. I don't know. But you know what? I appreciated the fact that they were doing all of this fact checking, because I am a real business and I don't want to be competing with 50 or 1,000 other mobile notary businesses that aren't even going to serve their customers, so that by the time they get to me, they're already pissed off. Nobody wants that. Any other questions?
I
Okay.
think you
I
did a great job, Heather. Listen, I came into this thinking I already knew most of it and like, what am I going to learn? Every time I go to training or retraining, I always want to take away three things. Even if I wrote the script, I learned new things. And I appreciate you taking the time. You put together a great professional presentation here. It's clear that you put a lot of time in it, and I just want to say thank you. I do appreciate everything you did today, and I did learn some things. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes,
I could be
yes.
helpful.
Yes. So everybody who has not taken Ron, or you could take Ron again, Heather will be teaching the Ron class tomorrow at 4 p.m. So please join. I'm sure her slides are going to be as awesome as this deck was. And every question that I wrote down while you were presenting, you answered like before I could get to the end. So great job. I love this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Love the slides.
Your little ADHD tip from me, I recently discovered that apparently I can't do things when they're boring, and that was why I couldn't make outlines. If I do it in a slide deck and I make it all color coded, apparently it's easy. So that's something I wish I had learned before I was 40.
You did a great job. We're always learning. See, you learned it after you're 40. We're always learning.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, that's it. That's a wrap for this edition of Beyond the Stamp. Thank you again, Heather, for this great presentation. I learned a lot. I feel like I joined in the dark ages because none of this was part of the process. And it's good to know that Google really is doing a really good job. I wish more entities that dealt with business and personal information were as diligent as Google appears to be right now, because there's so much fraud out here. So this is another example of how to tamp down fraud in the general universe online. All right.
It was
Well,
great. It was great. I'm glad.
Yes,
Thank
it
you
was
so
great.
much for that. You
Yeah.
can probably stop the recording now, Deb.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
I'm going to stop it.
Thank you.